if it's no must that you have a CCAT, then don't have it.
Yeah,
just take a
it's just
CCAT if it's an
Absolutely.
emergency and you must take a CCAT. But if not, then avoid it.
Yeah.
Avoid anything to do with CCAT. If you can give natural birth, just go for it. And I was happy that they really motivated me. Yeah, hey everybody, my name is Lorna Wirtz, aka Afrodess.
And I'm Lorna's husband, Wolfroots, aka Kamau or Fuli Muzungu Mjaja Kamau. And together we are the Afrodess family. And this is our
Bunny the
Bunny
Open
Open
Stories.
Stories.
When I realized I was pregnant,
We were just back in Kenya.
yeah, we traveled
So-
back to Kenya from Germany.
It was just in December she came to Germany after all visa and all stuffs were working so that we can now grow our family in Germany, and we had so many plans. Yeah, and then you felt homesick, so we had to come with carnival holidays from the kids back to Kenya, and we just sent the kids back and had some nice days in Mombasa.
Yeah.
And one morning she left very early, took the car, and I didn't know why. Later she came back with a package, went to the toilet, locked the toilet, and then you heard,
I wanted to be sure.
yeah, she was testifying, and I heard something like, oh no, and then I said, what's wrong? I have to wait. And so after some time, say, no, why does this happen? So, and then she came out and told me the happy news. But
And I was so happy that you took it positively.
yeah,
Because for me, we had so much plans. Because when I was in Germany, I had planned that now I have to finish with my German course, then I have to make my bachelor.
want
And
to make
then
bachelor,
now
yeah.
it happens that now I'm pregnant, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
no.
And
This
we
was not
just
the time.
we just applied for the Miss Kenya Germany contest.
Yeah, in Germany. So for me, I was like, no, this is not the right time. But you're so,
Yeah, I say
You're so
it's never the right time, or it's always the right time.
yeah.
So if I look back from my first wife, she passed away a couple of years ago, and we also had not planned the baby. And even we had our our pregnancy control, and the baby was on the way, and nobody expected. And also there we had a lot of plans, but the plans are there that you change them, and you have to make the best out of it. And what can be make you more happy than you know that you're becoming parents again.
Yeah. So after I realized that I'm pregnant, we were in Mombasa, and we went back to Germany. I was not yet used to the environment there, so I had everything new around me, the culture shock, everything, and the food was not tasting. So when I was home, I kept having
African food. So I always had to look where I get African food in the Africa shops and in the Asian shops. And so she was always cooking her food, or her African food for all of us, yeah. And mostly were eating a lot of mandasis. So she even taught me how to make mandasi and ugali and sumawiki. So, and pregnancy was not easy because from the beginning she stood a lot felt home. On one side she felt homesick, and then she had always problems. She kept nothing inside. She was always vomiting.
I ate everything, and it was always coming out. I always threw out. So I went to the hospital.
So
I was there for some days. I think most often. Almost
you
every month.
You have been there. I think yes, at least, especially at the beginning, every month at least once, and for almost 1 week or even longer.
Yeah, and
So-
when I was in the hospital, you had to bring me food, and I was specific, no
Yeah.
German food, because
Yeah.
I needed more and more of Kenyan dishes.
Okay, I had to cook. I think I once also was passing at an African restaurant and brought her the food, but she didn't like
I
it.
didn't like it. It's either
So-
you make it or you make it.
Yes, I had to cook it, and or what was also possible, French fries. Yes.
Performance, yeah, French fries. I liked it a lot. So when during the second trimester, it was still not easy, right? These days, yeah. I was also very sick. Kept going to the hospital and back home,
Yeah.
till
so-
the delivery date. Then we realized that the dates were changing. What happened? I don't remember exactly.
So they, you know, that always when they make the ultrasound, they look from the size from the baby, and then they can calculate how old the baby is, and then they are always looking at when you had your last periods, so that they say, because it's always about 10-12 days after the last periods when the pregnancy is starting, and from there they were calculating. And so they changed the delivery date, yes. But even the kids never keep the delivery date.
Yeah.
Only if you plan it. With my first two kids,
Yeah, none and nothing.
then we had to plan it, because my wife had nobody was expecting that she will get pregnant. She had some operations before, and even we had our family planning. And we're so surprised that the baby was on the way. And then the other doctor said, okay, because all the problems before, we had to make a C-cut. So then you can plan, then you can even say, okay, I want that it's get this zodiac or the other zodiac if it's a couple of days.
And so So the doctor told that it seems like the baby will come 2 weeks earlier. Then I had the pains in the night. Then my water was busting in bed.
Bed.
And then you had to carry me to the car.
And then I called, and they were asking how long are the labor pains in between, and so I say, oh, we have time, so we could, but we didn't need to pack everything, because we already packed the bag. So, but we could take breakfast, everything, and went then to the hospital. And doctor were waiting. We're doing the how is it called? Untersuchungen. Ultrasound-Untersuchungen.
Check-up.
Yeah, did the checkups and so on, and and then pains become more. At least you said I need something against the pain, so we were putting the.
I took some painkillers.
No, they were putting this tube in your backbone, but the service didn't open really good. At least the doctor decided, okay, but I think he was also looking on his watch and said, he don't want to deliver in the night. So he decided to make a C-cut, but not under stress. He said, we have the time, so even I could be there, and at least I could cut the navel rope from the baby. Yeah. Even later, and it was really nice from the first babies. It's been C-cuts. I already got the navel rope to cut it again, but there really the doctor let me pass behind him, so I was entering the sterile clothes and could go behind him and really cut the navel rope.
Yeah. And we had our baby then. She came out. We were so happy. Though she was not planned, but she was the best thing that happened personally to my life.
Oh, but she was not able to breastfeed.
Yeah, I couldn't breastfeed. I had problems. I didn't have enough
milk. No, I think the milk was enough, but the baby was not able to really suck
drink nicely.
This was
the milk dried out because the baby couldn't drink.
But she couldn't. We don't know why. And this was our biggest fear with the second baby, that this will not work again. So really, before I was looking, where's the pump that when we can pump the milk, because it was also we had our midwife, and this was not fair, because when she came to Germany, I introduced her to the gynecologist from my former wife, and then he got retired and he got a new gynecologist, and also he was related to the midwife, and also the midwife said no, she will not be the midwife, but the advantage was he's a doctor. A lot of hospitals, especially in gynecologists, they have no direct employed personnel, so there are 3 doctors which are making the service, and also the midwives in this hospital. We call it in German Belegarzt, Hebamme.
Yeah, but I finally still got a midwife.
Yes, but because there are those midwives in this hospital where this doctor was, so we could also we got a midwife, but she didn't tell us that for her the job is done when the child is delivered. And so we were there and were looking and said, oh, no midwife. And now getting a midwife, it's also not easy. And we realized that with the second baby, at least we managed. There was
with the
also,
first baby we still managed to.
Yeah, we managed it, but it took some time till we had somebody, and it was then she could give us the advice about which pump we should use and so on. But then it was almost too late. That was the problem. Till we had her, that she could support us.
But the good thing with the midwife, they teach you so much about the baby and how to maybe breastfeed, change the diapers,
yes, they
wash the
explain
baby.
everything.
Yeah.
So for us, okay, I had already experience with 3 babies, and in Germany it's more common that also the daddy is changing the diaper and looking for the baby. And I think for all our kids and for all my kids, I was always the one who got up in the night to change the diaper.
But the thing is, you knew how to change the baby, and I didn't know how to change the baby.
And
I didn't want that. You're the one teaching me, so I would prefer that the midwife comes and teach this to me.
But I wanted us to go to a pregnancy preparation class, not because of me, because of my wife, but we didn't find somebody who did it in English, so everything was in German.
With the first baby.
So it was so we couldn't do all those stuffs, all those preparations. So everything was depending on me. Yeah.
So then our second baby was well planned. We planned for him.
Yes.
Yeah. And
but even it didn't follow our plans. We were planning. She said now Nikita and Janjo, they have almost the same birthday, 2 days from each other. And she said, then all are in autumn, late summer. She also wants somebody around her birthday.
Yeah.
So we were planning for that we will give birth around her birthday. But we missed the month. But the next month we succeed, and even we didn't expect that it's working, because she had from the beginning she had from these typical symptoms, and she said, no, it was
I
not
wanted
working.
to share the birthday with the baby.
Yeah.
You wanted to share the birthday with the baby,
then
but
she said,
instead the baby came in between.
Yeah. She said, okay, if it's not my birthday, then we take your birthday 2 months later. So we said, okay, the next month it's not so important. So we didn't, tried it and make a plan that we know that it will work. But then we succeeded.
But then the baby didn't come on my birthday or on your birthday, but he's in between me.
Yeah, but even the funny thing was, Nikita was almost 2 weeks early.
Yeah, Nikita was 2 weeks earlier.
Nikita was really 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
And therefore Nathan stood almost 2 weeks longer.
Yeah. And so now with the second baby, it was a planned baby. We planned for this baby. I knew I could speak German, I could express myself in German, so we were able to go for pregnancy preparation classes
but
together.
we didn't find a midwife. Even
Yeah, we
if
still
after
didn't find a
after I
But
knew.
this was because of Corona.
Yeah, no, not only because of Corona. We really have a lack of midwives in Germany. It's very serious, and I had some addresses which had good reputation. I tried to get somebody from there, but they were full. Or they had, when is the delivery tip? Oh, around there I plan my holiday, blah blah blah, and so on. So it was not. They always found excuse, and really every 3 weeks I was looking in the internet on those pages, writing to midwives, but we didn't succeed all the time.
But
Okay.
Corona also played part in it.
Yeah, the advantage was that we already knew a lot of stuff. So, okay, this was good, but even later when we were taking the preparation class, yes, I could tell everybody from my experience. Everybody was asking why I'm here, but it was still good to get a little bit more information, especially about the background, what is going in the body, who is explaining you what is going with your hormones and so on, and why is this and why happens this. And also if there are midwives which are in the hospital, so they could also tell about the stories about their experience. And even with all this Corona stuff, it was good to have somebody who could tell out of their own experience how it's working in the hospital with Corona and with all those things. Yes, but the second baby we had another complication. We didn't went so to the hospital, but you get sugar disease for pregnancy, but only during this time. So even they wanted to give her insulin, but then we could manage it with a strictly food plan, so that she's eating regularly and watch out what she's eating. She was writing down, and even this assistant, this diet assistant, she was so surprised how serious she took it, because most are not taking this so serious. But this shows us that you don't need to have fear if there is any complication. If you take it serious and you follow the advice of the doctors, it's not. Yeah.
And so,
now with Nathan.
Yeah, with Nathan we went to the
Finding the hospital.
Pregnancy preparation
Classes
and the hospital where we gave birth our first child was closed. It was not anymore working.
No, not more for giving
Pregnancy,
birth, because that was the problem. They had not enough midwives and not enough doctors which will care for the service. That continuously there's a private doctor there or private midwife, so they closed this part of the hospital.
But the department for pregnancy was closed, so we had to look.
Yeah, but then we made, and this was in Stuttgart. It was a small hospital, and it belonged to one to a very big hospital, one of the famous hospital even in Germany, Robert Bosch Krankenhaus. Its founder was Robert Bosch, this entrepreneur, one of the first big German entrepreneurs and he was one who was caring also for his employees, who said, the employees are those who are bringing me money, so I have to care for their health. So he was founding this hospital, and and this small hospital was also a branch from there, but they closed in the branch the pregnancy area. So we decided to go to a big hospital, and then they heard, sugar disease. Normally, then we should go to the central hospital in Stuttgart, because next to there it's also the children's hospital. So if anything, a problem with the birth, with the sugar disease, then the hospital is around, and we don't have to bring the baby there, and the mother is in this hospital and the baby is in that hospital. So we don't like this. So that was good that she had it under control with the sugar disease, and that we can show that, and we say, okay, you're not
We'll show
taking
them proof
insulin,
that it's-
and
yeah.
then they were even looking about a diet plan, say, okay, we accept it. Yeah, and then we were waiting, and the date was there, and no labor pains. And then we were thinking, okay, you always have big problems with your periods. Then you always, I think it's almost like labor pains the way she's behaving. So, and the first time the doctor said, oh, after giving birth, these problems will disappear. No, they were increasing.
Yeah, with the first child.
Yeah,
Always during my periods, I have so much pain.
chance,
So
yeah.
the doctor told that after I give birth, these pains will disappear. But after I gave birth, they never disappeared.
And
The
they
pains
even
remained.
because yeah. No, and so therefore I said, oh, maybe you don't feel the labor pains because you're used to the pains, yeah. Then it was time, and then I called, and then they said, okay, then we have to introduction to give a birth. We have to start the birth, or we give it some medicine that it starts. So then she had to go to the hospital, and she said, okay, and then I dropped her, and they almost about to send me home, and say, oh, we're checking the service. Oh, it's only 2 centimeters. Oh, this will. Maybe you both can go home, but it's now very late. It's almost about, so we really have to start it. But if it's only 2 centimeters, it will take for long. So I think we took the kids to bed, and at 11 or so, then we started to go to the hospital in the night at 11. And then at 12 they do the examinations and so on, and then they were almost about to send me home, but then the pains become stronger. But the service didn't open more, it was also only 2.5 centimeters. And then they said, okay, now we give you PDA. If now the pain's already like this, and that was the reason that I stood in the hospital. Because if I would have come in the morning at 6 and they told me that I should call at 6 in the morning, the baby was already there. I think he was born for 5:30, for something like that. So, and really he rushed. Before he had any time of the world, but coming out, and really he rushed. And then they were looking at it, oh, it's only about 7 centimeters. And the midwife already said, okay, in 1 hour I will terminate my work.
There's something you're skipping, Chats. On the D-Day, I was the one in the hospital, and you were home during this time. You had gone home. So when I started feeling the pain and my water was bursting, I called you. Sorry.
I dropped you earlier, and they sent. They sent me home because of Corona. I was not allowed to be there. Yes, exactly.
So
and you called me.
Then when my water was bursting, I told to the nurse there, I need you that you're there with me.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. So I went already home. I was making dinner for the kids and take them to bed.
Then I called you and you had to rush back home. Then the midwife even told me, the nurses told me, you don't need to call, the baby's not coming now, maybe tomorrow. And I said, no. The water busted, I need that my husband is here with me. So they had to insist that then you come. Then you came.
Around 1 hour I was there.
Then they tried giving me something to stop pain, because first they gave me some pills, I took them.
Then
after 20 minutes, half an hour, it was the pain was becoming much worse.
And
so they gave me some.
First they gave you infusion, so directly, but it was not.
Directly the blood. It was not working completely.
It was not working.
Then
so they had to give the PDA, and even there they were already about to send me home.
And then I had absolutely no pains. It's like all the labor pains disappeared. This was so amazing.
And then we went to the Kreissaal.
No, there's something. When they gave me this infusion to stop the pains, to calm down the pains, I was giving up. I was even telling to the midwife, please, I just prefer this. I can't bear it anymore. Please, I just want a C-cut. Give me papers that I can sign. Then she was laughing and telling, no, you're strong. You'll make it to the end. You'll make it to the end. Just go on. It's too late to start doing this now.
But because even the doctor before was advising us that maybe we should make a C-cup, but she said, I want to make this experience.
Yeah, I want to make this, but you know, when we went to the pregnancy preparational classes, it motivated me to have a natural bath. I felt so inspired in this. I felt so motivated because everybody was talking about it, mostly the teacher.
Yeah.
She was telling us on the advantages of having a
Yeah,
natural bath.
yes, exactly.
So,
Even for the baby, because the baby is making his way, and they even told about if you look how they later develop, even the experience for the baby going there and not getting the easy way is helping to make them more strong or to become a more brave person.
I just remember she told to me that if it's no must that you have a C-cut, then don't have it.
Yeah,
just take a
that's
C-cut
just
if it's an
Absolutely.
emergency and you must take a C-cut. But if not, then avoid it.
Yeah.
Avoid anything to do with C-cut. If you can give natural bath, just go for it. And I was happy that they really motivated me.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
you
and
can,
then
the hospital.
we went to the hospital, yes, then we went to the Kreissaal and were waiting, and then, yes, as I told,
Wait,
the,
Kreissaal is a room for giving bath,
Yes.
where you find a bed,
they have even a
bathtub,
big tube
wall,
where you
yeah.
can sit, so you can, so it's really amazing, not comparable with here.
yeah, it's
So
like
you
a
have-
bathroom.
it's
Baby
a
bathroom.
yeah,
I don't
it's
know
a
how it's
baby
called in
bathroom,
English,
yeah, and it's really it's as big as an apartment, as a 2-bedroom apartment, and so there is a tube and everything is around, and even if there is an emergency in between of two of these giving birth rooms, there is an operation room. So if they immediately have to do a C-cut, it's only one door in between, and they can do this. Yeah, and as the midwife said, so we were waiting for delivery, and she said, oh, this can even take some time, but you have your room. And we heard that also now the other room was also full, so that somebody else came. This can be, if now somebody else is coming, it's very urgent that they look which is not so near to giving birth, that this one has to move again. But so then the midwife said, okay, we are now changing the shift, so she will check, and then she will introduce to the other midwife. And then it started. And really, even before she could measure next time, the hair was there, and
The head was there.
and I think you were only pressing 3 times, and he was there. And he was really rushing, and he had no sister, and his sister was not preparing the way for him. So everybody was expecting it's the first baby that is coming, so
Yeah,
it needs
naturally.
more time because he has first to open the way. But then he really came with in between, really.
Hours before than the doctors expected, right?
Yeah, even the doctor nobody expected that it's rushing. Then they saw the service, now it's 5 centimeters, and normal before 12 centimeters you don't say it's the birth process is starting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the birth process is starting even some days before, but the process, they say, normally with 10 or 12 centimeter service, they take you into this area, and before you stay in a room or so, but you got a PDA, and that's the reason that we went there earlier. But if I imagine they would have taken you up in in the normally room, they would not have been the time to take you down again, because the fifth floor is the hospital area where the patient rooms, and in the second floor was the birth area. Yeah. Yeah, with him it was really, but then yeah, first he didn't want to drink, and then we said, oh, now it starts
so sad,
again.
Like, not again with this one, please.
Yes.
And then we got a midwife after birth. Now
we got a midwife after birth, and I was in contact with this midwife. We could have even got 3 midwives, yeah. But so
I told
first,
you, only during pregnancy we didn't have a midwife, but after we had a midwife.
with giving birth, and so even the midwife who made this preparation class told us there is a database where we can tell, and we always have to renew our information when the birth is there, because sometimes it takes longer, or the baby is coming earlier, and the midwife immediately she has space or has time for somebody else and can take somebody more. And then I think you were in contact with one, and me, and the one we preferred, she was in contact with me, and she said, "Why, I have one," and I said, "Okay, we don't want," and then we recognized about the other midwife who was in contact with you, that she was had not this good reputation, because she was the one with the first pregnancy. When we were asked her if she wants to do it, she refused. Yeah. So they said okay, and the other one, she didn't take us that time, because normally she says she wants women who give birth in the house. So this is, therefore she made this apprenticeship, and therefore she's living, and she wants to give really natural birth in the normal environment, not in the hospital, and therefore she's only have customers who want to give birth in the house, and she had just some time, and she was really nice and careful, really, and even she said sometimes, "You know everything."
She thought I knew everything, but I didn't, because my first child didn't breastfeed.
Yeah.
With this one, I wanted to try my
best.
Yes,
but even when she was there in the house, she recognized that you really would have not urgently need one, but it was good she was there, because when they after giving birth, because when Nathan was rushing so much. So you left a lot of work for the midwife.
Mm-hmm. But from this midwife, I learned how to breastfeed a baby.
Yeah.
I learned how to burp a baby.
Yeah.
How to make the baby burping so earlier. Mm. I just learned a lot.
Yes.
How to make the baby's milk, how to fix, when to feed the baby, how to know when the baby yawns, there's a yawning or a cry, to know, to tell if a baby is hungry, if a baby needs the diaper changed, or it's uncomfortable. So from the midwife, I learned so much.
Okay.
So still, even if the midwife thought that I knew so much, from her I still learned a lot through the midwife.
Oh, but the good thing was, she could make the examinations at home, so we didn't have to go to the hospital. That they look after the check-up after birth and so on. So for that it was really good.
But I always tell that from the first baby I didn't really have experience, but with the second baby we were so prepared, because we had even something where we could measure the baby's weight almost every week, but that we could measure by ourselves and know if the baby is losing weight, that we have to watch out. So it was really nice with the second baby. It was easier than the first one.
I wonder why he's now so calm, because with our first baby, she was every night. I had to jump out once or twice to change her. I already forgot. With Nathan,
with the second
baby, she always reminds me that I was that I got up in the night, sometimes twice, and then with him, after very short time, we took him to bed at 11, and before 5 he didn't woke up. And this with even 3 weeks. And he kept this.
Even with days.
Yeah, even with days.
Even with days.
Oh, the first days in the hospital you were complaining.
Yeah, in the hospital.
In the hospital you couldn't sleep. You know.
Yeah, in the
but
hospital,
after he was home, in between of a couple of days.
He was sleeping from 11 till 8 or 7 in the morning.
One day, then we were really scared when we woke up at 8, at 7:30, and he's still sleeping. We couldn't believe it. First she asked me if I got a bit, and no, I was sleeping well. So, or maybe I woke up and don't remember, but the year after, there was a Kenyan guy who is making some venues in Germany, events in Germany, and I don't know where he got her contacts, and he invited us to come to an intercultural Kenyan day in Cologne. So we went to Cologne, and she had to perform there, but at least she was not performing, the boys were performing. But therefore we applied again for Miss Kenya Germany. And in the next year she became first runner-up of Miss Kenya Germany. Just half a year after giving birth. Yeah, we still missed your birth date. So we have to plan on another baby.
Hopefully.
Yes, I love kids, and now we have 5, and
hopefully we can go till 10.
Yeah, if you, for me, I think it's okay. It's you so have the most stress with it.
Mm-hmm. You can still add more babies.
Yeah.
At least still 10 kids. It's okay. Like our omas and like our grandmas and grandpas. Yeah. Till 10 kids at least.
We're looking for growing the family more,
yeah.
But also planning for maybe one day settle here again
in
Kenya. When I'm retired and the kids are old enough, but then it's now the
they
problem.
Have to make their own
now we have
come to Kenya or stay in Germany.
Yeah, now we have now it's even with the plans. Now we have a small baby. I always say Germany and Cameroon, Kenya both have their advantages. I like Cameroon. Also Cameroon, but I like Kenya very much. It's always warm. You have always summer. It's developing very, very, very nice. If I look back during the pandemic situation in Europe, there was nothing moving. But here, I came back after 3 years. It's looking totally different. A lot of the buildings are now finished. Tall buildings, skyscrapers, like in Frankfurt or any other big city in the world. So the roads are improving. Only with electromobility you're far from. Here, in our Europe, we have our problems with it. But on the other hand, in Germany we have a free school system, and it's even if a lot of people say it's not the best school system, but everybody has the chance to make his degree, even to make a PhD.
Even to go to the university.
Yes, and here it depends on the ability of your parents and which school you went, and also the health system. For me in Germany, we just lost a good friend of mine here in Kenya from Swiss. He was on the way back to Swiss, and he got a heart attack at the airport, and the paramedics were not able to take the decision in which hospital they take him. Until he was in the hospital, he was already dead. And his fiancée still here in Kenya. They planned to have a big wedding in April in Swiss. And this even gave me to think so that I don't have to give up my base in Germany, that if in case of anything happens with the health, then I can go back to Germany and get treated there, because there, yes, you also have good doctors, but you need a lot of money for this. You need a good health insurance. And so for me, even with the kids, as long as they go to school and they're not independent, we have to stay there, but we have to plan for after. Therefore, we have to rush with the other 5 kids. And if it's only 2 or 3, it's also okay.
Yeah.
This was our Burn in the Oven stories for now. Maybe we'll watch out later.